Ready? Good evening and welcome to Virginia's Views and Vibes. I'm your host, Ginny Gardner, and happy St. Patrick's Day from the two Italian Americans. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and my guest this evening, Dr. Paul Sergi, founder of CIAO, and Dr. Amara, board of director of CIAO, and many other titles they both hold. But tonight, we'll talk a lot about CIAO and a little bit about everything else. So Dr. Sergi, Dr. Amara, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you.
Sergi, tell me a little about yourself first.
Well, I guess I would describe myself as a Hyde Park boy. I'm born and raised in Hyde Park, Massachusetts. I'm second generation Italian. I have grandparents that came on my grandmother's side, on my mother's side, from Naples, and I have grandparents on my father's side that came from Sicily, Calabria. We're not quite sure there. And I grew up in Hyde Park, Massachusetts. I went to school at Catholic school there, St. Raphael's in Hyde Park, Massachusetts. From there, I went to Boston College High School, Boston College, New York Med, U.S. Army,
Thank you.
Rhode Island Hospital, Boston City Hospital, and practiced in Brockton for 25 years. And I'm semi-retired now. So that's my story. And I've just been brought up in this Italian tradition, and I got interested in trying to develop this educational program.
So very local boy.
Yes, I
Very
am.
local. Wow,
Proud
Hyde Park.
Bostonian, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. Dr. Amara?
I don't have as great a pedigree as Dr. Sergi. I went to Columbus High School, first generation Italian. I was going to be a shoemaker, and my father was a cobbler. He said that wasn't the best profession for me, so I went to Columbus High School, BC, BU, BC, and became very active in the Italian community, and we started working together, and I'll leave the details with him, but he dragged me in on this because he wanted to start CIAO. And I said, you realize how difficult it is, but he was persistent, and he now has, he's succeeded in starting something that I didn't think was even possible, but he succeeded.
Dr. Sergi, you said you've been working on this since the
Yes.
early 2000s.
Yes, we go back to early 2000 something. I forget, 2006, I believe. Actually, at that time, I had taken an Italian language course at the Blue Hills Montessori School, and I met another Domenic there that was instrumental with the consulate, and so we talked about doing something, and also was inspired by a friend of mine by the name of Bob Consalvo, who used to be the Mayor Flynn's education consultant, I think, at that time. I don't think it was such a formal thing, but he was an education guy. And he had formed a charter school called the
Pacific Rim.
The Charter School of the Pacific Rim.
Yep.
You know, I thought it was a great idea, but I always said to him, Bob, why did you do one in Chinese? Why don't you do Italian one? So that's where I got the idea.
Got the idea.
So when I met this other Domenic, he said, well, why don't we try to do something? And the original idea started with a charter school. Now, as Domenic will tell you, I don't know anything about administration or education. I'm not an educator. I'm a retired surgeon. So we started going and talking to the consul, and we wanted to start a charter school. At that time, we had 3 Italian mayors. We had Menino, Di Maria,
Oh
and
my gosh, that's right.
what's the fellow who used to be in Somerville? I forget his name now. Anyway, so we spoke to all 3 mayors. They're all very sympathetic to it, but it came down to the usual thing, money.
Yeah.
And this was going to be a public charter school. It was a lot of work. I had no expertise in it, and we had no big financial. So anyway, so that didn't work out. We worked on that for a while. We quieted down, and then when the Italian Alliance was formed, I called Frank Maraglio
Mazzaglia.
at that time.
Mazzaglia. Mazzaglia.
Yeah, and Domenic. They both were working together, and I said, let's do something brick and mortar. There was something about brick and mortar that I wanted to do. And I said, let's do something in the schools, education. So that's what we started. And we started talking. And originally, my idea was the charter school. You can't do that. You don't have the funds of the... Okay, let's do immersion. Okay, we'll go to the high schools and we'll do immersion. Well, you find out that if you do immersion, technically you have to do the whole thing, all the subjects in immersion.
Right.
You cannot just do immersion in Italian. So we said, well, let's do something, get into the high school. So I spoke to a couple of high schools. Domenic and I went to some of them, and we were fortunate enough, and I live in Canton, and I'm telling you, it's only fortunate that we happened to hit the right person at the right time in Canton High School, because they had teachers that could teach Italian. They're teaching Spanish, they're teaching something else, but they were there. So they were looking. They were dropping a German program, so we fit in. So that's how we got to Canton. We started there, and the idea is a real good program. That's what we want. And the Italian consulate is looking for significant educational programs. And the other thing I want to stress is we're not a social club. Most of the Italian things have social functions. I wasn't really interested. I'm interested in the educational thing. And what I found as I went into this, the Italian aspect morphed more into the education thing, because there's concerns about what the kids are taking in school now, and I think we can do better. And I can't imagine in my mind, and I'm only speaking for myself, that this area that Italian, Irish Italian, doesn't have Italian in more of the high schools.
Yeah.
So I always go and I say, well, that's the great language you can have. It's got culture, it's got art and everything. It fits into your whole program. So anyway, we got into Canton. The consulate is interested. We hit them at the right moment too. So they backed us a little bit. We got some help from the state, Representative Consalvo, Feeney, Galvin. They supported our programs, and we're in there. They started a 4-year program. The kids have agreed to take it for 4 years. Now, I mean, I'm sure they're gonna drop out, but the kids are supposed to be taking it for 4 years.
Wow.
They call it cohort studies, whatever that means. I don't even understand.
A court is a group.
Yeah.
As a group.
Yeah, so they developed it. So we got that into the high school. We also decided we had that there, so why not get adult education? So now we've also established adult education courses. We have 3 in Canton now at the library of the Adult Center. It's a beginners and intermediate and advanced, none of which is advanced really, but we call it that because people have different levels of expertise. It seems to be going well, so we're trying to develop that in the Canton community. We also want to expand out from that, and we've also discussed doing something with Stonehill College. And in fact, we're having a meeting with them to discuss introducing the program into their summer program for the younger kids, and hoping to do something more substantial with the university as well.
Okay. I just want to ask, Dr. Amara, you came in at the beginning too with Dr. Frank Mazzalia. Now, it seems like from the initial language, learning the language, which Dr. Sergi, do you speak Italian now? You
Un po' Italiano. Sì, io parlo un po' italiano. Only a little bit.
Only a little bit. Okay. I don't even do that, but I'm kind of right there. Dr. Amara tried to teach Italian through K5. We did a segment. I did pretty well.
Did very well.
I did
You
pretty
very
well. I picked up some. But Dr. Amara, you were at the beginning too with Dr. Frank Mazzalia. I know with you that the language is very important, but also equally as important is you promote the heritage, the culture, our language, and some of the traditions that I think on first generation, second generation, those things are lost. So tell me your part, Dr. Amara.
I got involved in this because of the education. My background was in science, but I ended up in education. And I was the academic superintendent in Boston. And when he needed help in terms of the education piece, that's where I jumped in. And because I was the president of the Pirandello Lyceum and the chairman of the Italian American Alliance, which are cultural organizations, I brought in the language, the culture as well. And we found that that when you teach a language is as integral a part of the culture, the integral part of the language. It can't really be separated. And we're finding that now with the kids, we're finding that now with the adults. The adults want to learn the language so they can go to Italy and understand the culture. And the kids understand the language a little bit better when it's given in the context of the culture. So Frank Mazzalia was the kind of like the guru that kind of like said we need another push for education and language and culture in Massachusetts, and that's how the Italian American Alliance has. The Pirandello did the same. So with that, Dr. Sergi and I went to the Italian consul, and we asked them for financial support. And we didn't realize how intricate that was. That involves a group called CASIT, which receives the money from the Italian Italian government. They raise money, and with that, they gave the support to Chow. Mm-hmm. And with that money, and with the money that he was able to personally raise, and the money that came from the state through the Consalvo, and we were able to put together a package, and we I would say convinced. I think that the Canton people were very willing to start the program, and they just needed all the pieces to come together. Yeah. So this is about 2.5 years, right, Doc?
Oh, yeah.
About 2.5 years.
Yeah.
We started the first cohort, and it worked well, the second cohort, and we're now ready to go into the third cohort. We've had discussions only, about going into the middle school, but we're only talking about that. And I think, as Dr. Sergi mentioned, we are going into Stonehill, in fact, soon, to talk about a summer program primarily for middle school kids. Because the lower you go in the language system, earlier you are with kids, the better off you are. But one of the things, just to reemphasize something that Dr. Sergi said, was that initially this was going to be, his idea was a brick and mortar school. He wanted to literally have a charter school, which are extremely difficult. You need money, you need place, you need whatever. It took a long time to convince him that wasn't possible right now, maybe in the future. We also consider total immersion very similar to Middlebury, where you bring people in for a kind of like a cloistered environment, and you speak only the language, and you'll leave after 5 or 6 weeks and you have pretty good understanding of the language.
You mentioned CASA. I just want to touch on that a little bit because I did not know what that is. That's actually the liaison between Italy and in Boston, and every state or every region here, Northeast, has a CASA. Talk just a little bit, touch on that, because
CASA
that's important to get to a way to get to the Consul General.
Well, there's a lot of this. You're seeing Dr. Sergi and I, but there are a lot of other people involved in this. This is never done with just 2 people. We could go all the way back to some of the school committee people in Canton. We were fortunate enough to have an excellent, probably one of the best curriculum writers I have ever seen, in Heidi. What was the last name? Olson. Heidi Olson. She was a curriculum writer she happened to be at the school, and she was superb. Without Heidi, we would have had a problem putting together a program. We talked to Maria Mata, who was, she and I had a long relationship. She worked for me, and when I was a principal of a school, and she helped us navigate through the CASIT. And as it turned out, pulling all of those pieces together, the Consul General went down with Dr. Sergi and actually spoke with the school committee people.
Oh, wow.
So the Consul General, Arnaldo Minuti, and the education director,
Ivana
Mastrocelli. She was instrumental. So a lot of these people in the background really made the thing possible. And I'm sure I'm missing some people. But
a lot of people.
A lot of people were in the background making this happen.
Yeah, it was amazing to me. It's like, I sometimes look at it and I say, if you just scratch the surface, you find a lot of Italians there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's strange, Italian Americans.
But even, wait a second, let's bring your wife in because she lets you do all of this.
Yeah, reluctantly. Reluctantly. I'm sorry, Bruce, I'm sorry.
Talk about what's going on today with it. It's come a long way since the planning stages. So right now, I think there's 2 classes, almost 3.
Three classes.
3 classes. Talk about that a little bit. Then I want to talk
talking about the
your big
education.
event.
You're talking about the adult education or the school?
Both.
Well,
Touch
the
on
school,
both.
I don't quite understand this cohort thing they're doing. They have goes right through 4 years. They're putting another one on, another class this year. So they're doing whatever this cohort thing. I never quite understood that. That's why I need Domenic.
Do you see it going into the elementary school?
That's what we're planning to do.
Okay. Because that's so important.
Yes, we know that, but
Yeah.
the one bad thing about it, Canton High School is building a new middle school.
Okay.
So they're in the middle of construction. They're going to try to fit that in, hopefully, as we go. We're pushing, we're trying to,
Yeah.
we understand, we need, how is this thing going to survive?
Right.
I mean, we're a disappearing group, right? Italian Americans, right? As
Yeah.
far as what we have in our communities now. We want to incentivize it by having the kids get it
Right.
early on as a feeder system. Also to encourage exchange program. I personally like the actual exchange where the kids go to and live with a family in the country. I mean, like Domenic mentioned, why are the kids going to take Italian? They take it because there's some Italian American heritage.
Yeah.
It's the easiest subject. That's the reason they choose languages sometimes. So we gotta do that. Otherwise, it's going to disappear.
Yeah. And that brings us to CIAO, May 2nd,
Right.
the event that you're having at the Irish Cultural Center in Canton, May 2nd. Talk about that, because you've got a great lineup.
Yes.
I think we're going to try and get, well, Anthony San Marco is going to be our keynote speaker. We have him coming, and he's the author of probably now almost 100 books in the area. He will be coming. But tell us a little bit about that, because that's a way to raise some money, awareness, and talk about all the things you just brought up, our culture, our heritage, and most importantly, educating the young people in our language. So that was your idea to do this because you felt it was a thank you to some of the parents and a way to educate people on what you're doing with the language program.
Yeah, this is a deep conversation. You're trying to get it. I have to ask myself sometimes, why? Why am I even doing this? I sometimes don't understand it. I think of it, obviously it's part of my Italian upbringing.
Right.
It's influenced me. Like we were talking about it, as far as I'm concerned, we know about what happened to immigrants to this country.
Right.
Italians make two big mistakes, I think, when I look back at them. They're too tribal. We're still tribal. There's Neapolitans, there's Sicilians,
Oh, right.
so they're still tribal. We still think that way. And the thing is, they immersed into the country too quickly. So we did not, as second generation, learn to speak Italian because they wanted just to speak English.
Yeah.
So I don't want that to be lost. And like I said, part of it is a guilt on my end that I didn't appreciate some of this stuff when I was a kid. That what they did for us, I understand historically now, and what my parents did for me, and I probably didn't do it as well as I should have. That's the thing they always tell you. You always can do better.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it. And then I got into the educational part, like I told you. I think the education's, I enjoyed surgery the best was teaching the residents.
Yeah.
That was the best part of it, now that I think back about it. So that's sort of why I got into it. That's why we're pushing this education. It's educational language and culture. It's all, like you said, it's intertwined.
Yeah. Well, I do think that when, for instance, my grandparents came here, it was important for them to and they were excellent examples of culture and strong women, strong family. That's important. The language thing, I wish that they had taught us the language, but they did come here to be Americans, so I don't fault them for that. I actually applaud them for it. But the language piece of it, I regret too.
Yeah.
I think that I wish they had encouraged us to learn the language and speak Italian, but they didn't, so now we all have to try. But
I'm not faulting them for that. I'm just
No,
trying to
I just-
explain
yeah,
what their thinking about
their
it.
thinking was
They
correct.
wanted it to be Americans. And they came because they had
Yeah.
nothing.
Yes.
They came here
Yeah.
for a new life
Yeah.
that I got to enjoy. Why am I so lucky? That's
Yeah.
right.
So you want to give back, basically.
I guess.
It's the feeling
I
of
guess.
giving back, teaching other people
I guess.
the language or culture and all those quirky traditions that we do
Yes.
and things like that. Dr. Amara, do you want to talk about the event a little bit? Because you'll both be speaking.
Well, I just wanted one thing I'd
Sure,
like
go
to
right
say
ahead.
about the event. It's that we're willing to share this with the Irish. We're having it at the Irish Cultural Center. I hope my wife is listening. So we're going to have it there.
Yep.
As far as the nuts and bolts of it's going to be May 2nd.
May 2nd.
It's important for us because it's our first fundraising event. I don't raise funds in general year to year. I don't like that. I always felt bad about asking for people. The problem is there's so many things to give. I mean, there's all the cancer things. There's all the so it's so hard for people, and I don't like asking people for things. But this is one, a fundraiser, May 2nd. It's at the Irish Cultural Center. It's what, 6 to 10 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, about, yep.
And it's going to
Excellent
be
food.
excellent food, Italian food, the little Italian culture.
Yep.
If speakers, as mentioned, go ahead, Dr. Amara. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's okay. You did well.
Very good.
No, I just.
I'm gonna read the
Yeah,
announcement
please,
though. May
please.
2nd, the Irish Cultural Center, 200 New Boston Drive, Canton, and all the proceeds will support the Italian program, the Heritage, Culture, and Language. And this is so important, not just to Italian Americans, but for everyone, because I think it's important, like you said, Dr. Sergi, kind of the tribal thing. We need to learn other people's cultures because it is still a melting pot here. And I think it's so important, and it's also fun. There'll be some music. The food will be excellent. You have hired a professional chef, so it will be absolutely spectacular. Great music, great speakers. What else?
Well, it is a fundraiser. We'll
It
ask
is a
people,
fundraiser. Bring
We'll
your
ask
own.
people for a little help if they would be willing to do it, but we understand it. And also, my philosophy is I want you to contribute if you want to and you can afford it.
Yeah.
If you don't want those two things, don't do it. We're not mad at you. We're just looking to survive like everybody else.
But to get tickets, call 617. Do I have that number here? Yep.
617-733-7253. That's my cell phone number.
And then otherwise you can,
Mail it to my home address,
Eight.
which is Chow,
yep.
8 Hickory Lane, Canton, Massachusetts, 02021.
And Dr. Sergi does Venmo. So look, you know what? Call that number, text that number, and you can get all the information. You can always text me or call me, Virginia Gardner at AOL.com, and I can forward the information to you. But it's going to be a great event because I think, truthfully, it's a nice way to thank the parents that have children in this now and look at the culture a little bit with fun.
An important part of that is to thank the people who have helped us. Like we said,
Right.
we can't honor everybody. We'll honor a few people. We can't honor everybody. So all these people helped. But it's to recognize the people that helped us. It's to get the information out on the organization and to fundraise a little bit if we can.
You know, Jenny, it's not just the financial aid because some people can really contribute in ways other than dollars. If they want to get involved in something like this, they want to help, and they believe they've got connections. Some of the best ways they can help is to let us share their Rolodex. I know that's an old term. Maybe people may not even understand what a Rolodex
Email
is.
list.
Their email list or their connections. Whether you're someone in a business or whether or not you have a foreign language skill, etc. If you want to help, you don't have to only help with dollars. Sometimes the skill that you bring, the information that you bring, is just as valuable, or even in some cases more valuable. So don't feel that it's only dollars we're asking. In order to perpetuate this, we're going to need more help than we need dollars, actually.
And a thank you, too, to some of the people that are making this possible. The Irish Cultural Center, they've been very good.
They've been very helpful, and the people are going to see how well the Irish are doing with their cultural center.
Absolutely.
It's a nice venue.
So that's May 2nd. Get a hold of Dr. Sergi or email me here at the studio, virginiagardner@aol.com. Thank you so much. Come back again. Tell us all about
I
it.
always want to come back to Easy Street.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.